Today's lesson is on Mesopotamian religion. Mesopotamian religion is not the same as the animism we saw in prehistory. Animism, as we discussed, is good in small groups, but it really doesn't work when it comes to larger groups, cities, and civilizations. What happens is animism slowly evolves into polytheism. Polytheism is the subject of all Mesopotamian religion and most of the religion of the ancient world. Polytheism is very, very common. And what we will be exploring today is how polytheism is different from animism. We will cover two questions. What is polytheism? A definition which will appear very quickly. And second, analyzing the difference between polytheism and animism. Once again, if you look on page 2, we have an organizer, and we are going to take advantage of it today during our lesson to understand exactly what we need to do. Complex religion. Mesopotamians believe in the existence of many gods. This belief is known as polytheism. Polytheism is not the same as animism, though. Animism dictates that a tree has a spirit. Polytheism dictates that a god, an actual living supernatural being, would be the protector and master of all trees. There were fewer gods in polytheism than there were spirits in animism, but each god in polytheism had more power and more responsibility. Mesopotamians began to develop polytheism as a reaction to the growth of civilizations. It was hard to believe that every object had a spirit, when so many objects in their lives had been created or grown by humans. Instead of a spirit that controlled one apple tree, polytheism explained that there was a god that controlled all crops and harvests. Mesopotamians could pray to the harvest god for all their plants. There were more than 2,000 Mesopotamian gods that had been mentioned, but there are a handful that are much more well known. Anu, king of the gods, the creator of the heavens and the earth. Enlil, god of wind, air, earth, and storms, viewed as kind and caring. Enki, god of fresh water and wisdom, responsible for saving mankind from the Great Flood. That's the Great Flood we learned about in our last section. Marduk, protector and founder of the city of Babylon. Ninurta, warrior god and god of farmers, created the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Nergal is the god of death, disease, fires, and destruction. Ishtar is the goddess of love, romance, and war. Nabu is the god of scribes and writing. Nana is the moon god, represented in every temple. And Shamash is the god of the sun, truth, justice, and morality. What I would like you to do is I'd like you to discuss how polytheism is bigger than animism. Polytheism is really a supersized version of animism. Animism means that if I have 5 trees, I pray to 5 separate gods. If I have an orchard with 1,000 trees, I have 1,000 gods to pray to. There are obviously inherent problems with praying to 1,000 gods every single day. Now, if you step back and you say, if I pray to one apple tree god, or one tree god, or one plant god, or one god of the harvest, that god will protect all of my trees. That god will help me be successful on my entire farm. So what we start to see is groups of things categorized. All plants are under the same god. Many weather events are controlled by one god. Many rivers are controlled by one god. Many natural phenomena that would have had their own spirit controlling them, like lightning and thunder, now are controlled by a storm god. The gods get bigger, and therefore they're more powerful, but there are less of them to work. And that makes it much more efficient to be polytheistic rather than animistic. I would like you to begin on your writing organizer. Create a claim that says polytheism is different from animism because, and cite a reason. Explain why you believe they're different. Perhaps you could pick a side and tell me which one is better in your explanation. or maybe why one works, or maybe why they're equal, or however you want to phrase it. Evidence, there's not a lot of evidence to choose from because there's only 2 paragraphs. But use them wisely, and you'll get right through this. Reasoning, this is the toughest part for all 6th graders. Explain what your quote means, and then my quote proves that animism is different from polytheism because if you follow those steps, you will be successful.